Everyone. Can I get a good morning? Good morning. It is Friday, February 28th, 2025, and this is your Friday morning safety meeting. My name is Bill Sprague, and this is Rick Iffert. We are in the safety department. We know we're not who you're used to seeing up, right? You're used to seeing the Dennises and the Daves and the Johns. Well, let me tell you why we're up here. So our social media group, they reached out to the masses and they said, we need more viewers. What do we need to do to get more viewers? The answer was pretty unanimous. They came back and said, you got to get a couple better looking and funnier guys up there. Hey, I can't change the results, right, Rick? But since they couldn't find any of those, they asked us if we would fill in today until they do. So that's why we're up here today. So we hope that we can share some information with you. Those other three are out on business today, but these meetings are meant to educate, inform, and also make sure if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, get to a mic. Let us try to get it answered. If we can't, we'll find somebody that can. This is about being transparent. This is your meeting. So we hope that you learn from it. We hope that it helps to benefit your business. With me today, I have Rick Eifert. Is it Eifert or Iffert? It's Iffert. Okay, messed it up already. Rick's been with us 30 years. He brings 30 years of knowledge to this business. He works for us out in the PA office. And I can tell you, if you've ever been through there, he is such a wonderful asset. He's helped so many drivers over the years. If you need a safety counsel, it's great to be able to go out and see him if you're in that area instead of having to come all the way back here. But he has changed so many lives and so many behaviors and helped so many drivers to further their career. So first of all, I want to say thank you to what you do out there. And I can tell you now, I've seen some emails today. They are missing you because you're not out there. So I'm sure they're ready for you to get back next week. But so you've been here for a week with us. What kind of stuff have you experienced here in Springfield?
Yeah, I have been here a week, and it's been a good week. The weather's been perfect. It started out Monday. We had a 2, 3, 4, and 5 million mile dinner that we attended. Do we have any of those associates that are still here? Any of those drivers that are still here that had 2, 3, 4, 5 million miles? Stand up, please stand up. Awesome. You know, it's amazing. When you think about a driver that has 2, 3, 4, 5 million miles safe driving, that's 7 years for every million miles that they deal with. That's a lot of misses that they've dealt with also as far as accidents are concerned, and in other vehicles and just a lot of stuff that they have to deal with out on the roadway. And we're so appreciative to those guys and gals for sticking with us, and it's awesome. But talking about those guys, talk about those million mile drivers. Let's talk about the people that have just started here, new associates that started here this week. I see a lot of green vests out there, so please stand up. Let us welcome you to the company. It's always a pleasure. It took a lot for you guys to get and gals to get here. It does take a lot. We look at you guys real hard. Hopefully you looked at us hard, and we're glad that you're here.
Something else I want to share that happened Monday night, Rick, and I think it bears mentioning. We had a little bit of a medical issue.
We did, yeah.
And I'm bringing this up because, and I think it was the words of the gentleman that stepped up and helped his fellow person. And to go through it, we had a driver that took a bite of steak and it didn't go down right. And he became choked, and it was pretty quick to realize that he was going through a medical emergency. Without hesitation, we had a driver step up, jump into action, and save him. He done the Heimlich and instantly was able to get it back up and help that gentleman that was there with a family member. I'm not going to share his information. He wasn't doing it for notoriety. No one does when they step into a situation like that. But if you see anyone with the first name Isaac on their badge, thank them. And it may not be him, but that person will probably, you'll make their day just because you thanked them. But what I want to express is after that, Dennis interviewed him for a second, and he was very humble. And he said something that was powerful that we all need to think about. And that was, for humanity to get better, we got to be willing to help each other. Doesn't necessarily mean you got to know the Heimlich. It doesn't mean you got to know CPR. He just means in any situation, if you see somebody that needs help, help them. If you're able, it doesn't have to be a Prime driver. Anybody, if you see somebody in need and you're able, help them. Let's do better. Let's work. Let's let people look at us and go, I know if there's anybody out there in need, a Prime driver, if they see it, they're going to step up and they're going to do something about it. Let's be that company that people know is going to step up and do the right thing, because that's going to make us all better. So that was powerful words from him, and he didn't hesitate. There was a number of people there that were worried about that person, but it cleared up. Everything went on. The rest of the night was amazing. But I think we need to learn from that and just realize, when we see something, let's help people.
Yeah, let me add to that a little bit. Yeah, he was the first one there. But, when I looked and I seen there was a lot of Prime associates heading in that direction to help him. And that's what a family does. We help each other and take care of each other. And that's really powerful. And we appreciate y'all.
Yes, for sure. Well, let's move on. We're going to bring up Rachel and Colby and our driver health and fitness, so they can share some information with you in that regards. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us up here today. Good morning, everybody. So Colby, driver health and fitness, Rachel, our on-site dietitian. Last week we had a really good one, you and Maria, and I appreciate you guys stepping up for our tip last week. What do we have for this week?
So for this week, we kind of have just kind of touching into a way to help change your mindset with just challenging situations that happen to us every day. So if you guys would be able to pull that up for me, thank you. So this is a quote from a gentleman. It's attributed to a gentleman who survived Auschwitz, and his name is Viktor Frankl. So this is his quote. Let's read it. It says, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." So that is something that, I really think all of us can take and use in a variety of ways. We were talking about like parenting. Whenever like with parenting, it requires a lot of patience. It requires sometimes calming down, taking a choice. I think we could definitely use that in the driving career as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of, I've talked to a lot of drivers, and we've talked about even like this week having conversations is like in that switch where that decision's being made, the processing of information says, hey, and an example I talked to a driver was like, the repetitiveness of what we're doing in an industry that sometimes when there's a delay, sometimes we kick our feet up when we do nothing, right? And it's like, just take my time. And then this driver's like, well, there's one time it just clicked. I was like, you know what? I'm going to actually do something we've talked about. So they got out and stretched a little bit in the cab of their truck, that kind of stuff. And it just changed their career. They're like, you know what? That was amazing. So for now, they found the 3 or the 4 minutes. We've teased other times like the power of a minute, and that's what they had said the same thing. They're like, you know what? In this instance, there's a time now when I find minutes that I do things that I never thought I would ever do. And that was a switch.
Yep. I had a driver this week who in her pre-trip, she would go through and make it kind of a game to get more activity in. So every time she checked a hose, she would take another lap around the truck, just different things like that, taking the opportunity to stretch a little bit on the truck as she's doing her pre-trip. And by the time she got done, she pretty much walked a mile just doing her pre-trip. So things like that, you have a stimulus, right? And we can change our response to that. So
absolutely, I love it. So, like I said, guys, every time we offer different things every week. This is something just kind of deep to think about, but we really want to let you know that we're always here to help you. So, we hear from drivers all the time that come talk to us. Like I said, we're here to help you in every way, just like Prime is. Any way in your profession to help your best book of business, we're here to help you. And obviously, health and fitness is the best way to help you stay safe on the road. So, anybody got any questions or anything while we're up here? Anybody got anything they want to share about maybe something like this that's changed them? Okay, well, we're here to help you if we can.
thank you.
Nope. I got a question for
Yeah.
you. So let's say that I'm new to the industry. Okay. Now, for ones that have been here for a while, they know how the sedentary lifestyle is going to impact them, right? It may have a negative impact on our bodies, how we eat, sleeping habits, all this stuff. If someone's new to the industry and they've always taken care of themselves, they've been able to stay in shape and they've had good luck with that, do you offer something that can start them off in the right direction instead of waiting till, I've put on 30 pounds because I'm not able to get out and get exercise. Now I need to start trying to work on that. Have you got something that'll help them maintain or just kind of get them going in the right direction from the beginning?
Yeah, so we always have programs. Good question. We always have programs going, but we currently, and I always say the most important part is having conversations, right? So we do have Rachel, our registered dietitian, that I tell people is always to get in touch with her. But another one is we have our personal trainers in all of our locations. We have a program right now, our Fit in 15, that's ongoing, but we do have a lifestyle one that they can jump in whenever. Like I said, we can sit here and talk forever, which is awesome, but our YouTube channels where we have a lot of videos and things like that. But you do bring up a great point. If we are nothing, we are very transparent here, right? And the industry can be very compromising to your health. And I do say the biggest part is something's going to change. It's a sedentary lifestyle. I've talked to a lot of drivers, and Rachel and I talked about this last year with the driver quite a bit, that sometimes we just got to connect the dots. And that's why I say talk to us, right? Because you could literally go through, hey, I'm not eating any different than I ever have. All I did is start driving a truck, and all of a sudden I gained 50 pounds. And it's like, well, what'd you do before this? Well, I worked in the field. A little different than being sedentary, right? So having these conversations is where we start connecting the dots, because we literally had a driver that had gained 100 pounds in a year, but all we did is talk about what's one thing they consumed that they used to consume while they were physically active. And then it would literally, I mean, mathematically, it equated to 100 pounds gain, because 3,500 calories in 3 days is what they were consuming extra more than normal, just drinking it. And it was like, click. And that's what's amazing. That's the transparency. That's the conversation.
It's easier to do than we realize. And so for people that are hearing this and they're thinking, man, personal trainers, a dietitian, things like that, there's got to be a significant cost to me. So if they're going to utilize your services, what's the cost for something like that?
It's a benefit, nothing. It's completely free, added benefit of being a driver.
It's a wonderful amenity. And the reason that we have it is because you work for an owner, Robert Lowe, that cares about your health. But he can't help you if you don't help yourself.
Yep.
He's going to give you the opportunity. It's got to be up to you to use it. Don't think you can't because there's a cost or something associated with it. The only cost is going to be your time. And trust me, it's going to be worth the time to benefit your health. So make sure you're utilizing programs like this to make sure that you can have a long, safe, healthy career, because we believe a healthy driver is a safe driver. So
Amen.
thank you for what you do,
No,
Colby.
you bet. I appreciate you. And you're exactly right. I always say the foundation of a driver's success is, and over the road, is their nutrition. Because everyone here knows there's going to be complications of loads, delays, traffic, weather, things you can't control, but you're going to consume food. So I think, and I've said this in the industry, I've been in health and fitness for over 20 years, that like a registered dietitian is somebody that you need to talk to, you need to ask questions about, because it isn't always about what is lean meats and vegetables. Awesome. We know that, right? But like I said, sometimes even when we're chasing our kids in sports, it's, you want warm food, you eat whatever's warm. So having a conversation with Rachel or a dietitian says, hey, what can I do that's not so compromising? You know, and that's where I think that's that transition change. It says, just start thinking a little.
It's such a wonderful minute because not a lot of people get that. So appreciate
I
what you
agree.
guys
No,
do.
thank you guys.
Let's give them a round of applause. Utilize it. There's a lot of services around here that are offered, but they don't do you any good if we don't use them. So make sure that you're getting with them on any of your needs. Our next speaker, we're going to move right along. We're going to get a facility update from Mark Piley. He's our Director of Site Maintenance. And this guy does everything. I don't know if you'd watch him around here, but he'll do everything but checking to see how the flower's looking. I seen him looking at a chair a while ago that's broke. So Mark, appreciate everything you do to make this place looking so wonderful all the time. Thank you.
Good morning. Wanted to update everybody on some of the project work that we're getting involved with here across the country. I had Richard put some PDFs or plans up on the TV screens for you, so I can explain a little bit. This is at Bedford Park, our facility there, our newly acquired facility about a year and a half, 2 years ago. What we're doing there in the office area, for example, we're taking some old office spaces and making a driver lounge out of them. A nice break room, a couple driver's showers, a laundry room area. Just a nice area expansion to improvement to make it better for our drivers. Also providing a women's locker room in the office area out in the shop. Just another project that we're doing up there. Richard, you want to switch? This is our pedigree facility here in Springfield. We're very northwest corner of our property. We're across the creek. We're going to be building another parking lot area, about 74 trailer spaces. A new building for the pedigree sales folks to work out of. That's going to be a very good benefit to our existing property, clearing a lot of trailers and bobtails off the existing parking spaces, parking lots that we have across the campus, clearing that out for you guys to have more room. So good deal there. This is in Pittston. We bought a little over 5 acres of property just next door to our existing training pad. We've actually getting about 140-ish parking spaces for trailers over there, which will again help clean up the Pittston terminal, make more room there to pull in and out of. So that's going to be a big plus. We're also on the training pad building. We're adding a pedigree office, putting in a couple showers, a laundry room to do some laundry there as well when drivers and or trainers are down there at that lot doing a lot of training. It's just approximately about a mile down the road from the terminal. But by adding showers, a laundry room, and more facilities there, that's going to be a big improvement for everybody. And like I say, the trailer parking spots are going to help all around a bunch. Also, if you can go back to that, Richard, just for a minute, we're adding a new pavilion over there, covered pavilion with some picnic tables and some barbecue grills. I know the guys training up there really like to cook outside quite a bit. So that's going to be a big plus there. I think that's about all I've got, isn't it, Richard? Yeah. So any questions? We thrive to make our facilities as best we can for everybody. Yes, sir.
2 items at the Pittston terminal. There has been some resistance to people parking down by the training pad area. So how much utilization is that going to wind up with as far as the showers and laundry facility if you can't park there?
Well, we're adding 140 some parking spaces for trailers. Now, it's not a location that we're going to be taking loaded trailers. Loaded trailers will still have to park up at the main terminal.
I got you. And the Bedford Park facility, they're going to be allowing a little bit more than just the intermodal drivers there. Last time I was there, they didn't want me staying.
They didn't want what? I'm sorry.
Since last time I was up at the Bedford Park facility, they didn't want me staying for any length of time. They wanted me to move off to an actual truck stop. I was just wondering if there's going to be more availability for us to actually be there and enjoy that facility now that you're updating it.
Well, I'll have to pass that question on to operations, but I would, we've got a few acres of parking in the back there for, intermodals and that kind of thing. But
Mark, so the one thing at the training pad in Pittston, we're not going to want loaded trailers on there. Any driver is able to go down there, use the facilities, things like that. We just don't want any loaded trailers. So but it's just going to kind of help clear up the terminal a little more too by being able to do that. So.
Hey, Mark, this is Rick and Pittston. If I could just add something to what I think that was Stan just said. The purpose for the amenities down at the training pad is not for people to leave the terminal, go down, park down there and use showers and laundry facilities. It's really just a convenience for the folks who are already there training, so they don't have to wait on a shuttle ride or find a way up to the main terminal. So yeah, again, no loaded trailers. We don't want people driving to the pad to park at the pad just for those facilities because we have them at the main terminal.
right. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. Any other questions? All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
All right. One note we want to get out there is Manuka is now online as far as they're able to see us and hear us. They just don't have any microphones where they can talk to us. But let's welcome them to our soiree.
So if you're going through that area and you're going to be near the terminal on a Friday morning, stop in there and you can tune in and be able to see it.
Let's go east and we'll see if we got Lisa. I know we got Rick Yarbrough up there, and I think we have Steve Benz is going to talk to us a little bit today.
Yeah, man, Steve is here. Rick, since you got drafted to the big leagues in Springfield, had to settle for me today in Pittston. But we've already covered what's going on here, so I won't delay that anymore, and we'll kick it over to Steve from operations.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys. So I moved up here in 2014, and I quickly, within 3 years, got to experience one of those famous nor'easters. And that was the year where we got roughly 3 feet of snow in one day, and that was in the middle of March. things are kind of turning towards spring here, that can quickly turn. So please, everybody stay diligent on, checking the weather on your routes, making sure, you're only rolling when it's safe to do so. We definitely want you all shutting down when it actually is, the conditions are not safe to be driving. So if you are finding yourself under a load or heading towards a load and you think your fleet manager actually wants you to go pick it up, think again. We do not want you to if it's not safe to be driving the roads. Just if you can shut down, call your fleet manager and let us know what you're doing, and we can relay information to sales to make sure our customers are aware of it as well. Secondly, kind of what I want to talk about here is the camera system. So a lot of our drivers are still not signed on the Driver Eye app, which allows you to really watch the videos that we're seeing here in office. So I really encourage everybody to get signed up for that Driver Eye app. You just got to go on the app, and if you did not register at the very beginning and when you got the Geo tab, all you got to do is hit the forgot password button, and it'll send you an email. That's where you set up your password and you get signed on for there. I think that is going to be it for me today.
Awesome. Being from Pennsylvania myself, I mean, those winters can be tough, and it does snow that can accumulate pretty quickly up there. And one of the things you could do is it's called PA 511. That'll give you road closures and a lot of weather updates, something to utilize. Thank you guys up there.
I want to tell Steve thanks. With Rick here, we utilize Steve. He's also always willing to step up and help with driver councils when Rick's out of the office. It just shows he's such a team player, and everybody's in safety, right? So since he is always in safety anyway, he steps up even if it's not on his fleet, and he counsels drivers for us. So Steve, we appreciate what you do out there.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go west, and we got Justin Walker and Jonathan Grice out there. Before we go there, I just want to say Justin Walker is a new part of our safety team and is doing a really, really good job for us. So not only do you have somebody out east to take care of your safety needs, but we got somebody out west also. So let's send it off to them. Who we got out there?
Thank you. Good morning. It's Justin and Jonathan. Just wanted to tag on with Steve's message there about weather. We are getting some warmer temperatures out here. Don't, bank on that. We definitely get snow in July sometimes. It snows every month in Wyoming of the year. So just be safe out there. Watch the higher elevations. Just a reminder from our safety team this week is sending in pictures. If you get in an accident, you're on the phone calling us anyway to go over the incident. Take some pictures and send that in through the app or through the email to safe@primeinc.com, and I'll hand it over to Jonathan.
Thanks, Justin. How are you guys back in Springfield?
Good.
Good.
That's
I
all
love
you
the
get.
enthusiasm there, Bill. Well, thanks for letting me on here today. I want to talk real quickly about a couple things operationally. The first thing I want to talk about was our Western Regional Group and some opportunities we may have there for you folks specifically that live out west or domiciled out on this side of the country. Last week, just to kind of give you guys some data, we had 90 trucks within that group. Those 90 trucks were able to generate over $490,000 in revenue. So if you calculate that down, we're a little over $5,400 per truck within that group. So I know the weather is a little bit difficult from time to time this time of year, but obviously we've got a lot of capacity from a freight perspective to run, and it's obviously pretty lucrative. So if you guys live out this way, by all means, reach out to your fleet managers and see if you want to get involved with that regional opportunity. The second thing I wanted to talk about, with spring only being 3 weeks away, there's a little bit more intrigue there in regard to potentially training. I wanted to kind of get that in front of everybody as well. This week, the difference in net earnings for solos versus team operators was $1,422. So a lot of money can be earned that way if you decide to go that route. And that's across all divisions, reefer, flatbed, tanker. Each of those divisions have similar splits in their earning potential. So give it some thought. If you're qualified, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, if you're sold on the program, just reach out to your fleet manager, and we'd love to see what we can do to help you out. Terminal perspective wise, we still got a lot of shop capacity out here. If you guys need to get some shop work done to your trucks, by all means, just reach out. to our group out there. We'll get you in and out of here as quickly as we can. Appreciate all you do, and I hope you guys have a great day.
Thanks, Jonathan. And big shout out to you and Justin both. I know you came from operations, so did he. You guys bring a lot of trucking knowledge out there. You've done a great job as a terminal manager. Justin's been an amazing addition to our safety team out there. And all I can say to operations is nana boo boo. They do a much better job in the roles they're in right now. So thank you for what you guys do out there. I think leasing, yeah, very well spoken. I'm very educated. If leasing will bring up, who do we got today? Haley and Chelsea. So they're going to share some information with us
Good
about
morning.
leasing a truck. What do you got for us
Hello.
today?
Hi, happy Friday. It's a beautiful day.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Haley.
I'm Chelsea.
We are obviously from the leasing department. We're just going to go over a few little facts right now. If you guys have questions, just let us know at the end. We're happy to answer anything. Chelsea's going to go over some ordered trucks.
Yes, so right now we are actually placing orders for Freightliner and Peterbilt. We're placing orders that are going to deliver in the month of July. So if you have an end of lease in the month of July, I would consider, if you're going to place a new truck order, to go ahead and get that in. Also, Kenworth, we do have some Kenworth VINs that are going to be coming in this year. We've had a lot of questions about that. So if you want to give us a call, I do kind of want to clarify, this is not exactly like the Freightliner and Peterbilt deals. We don't customize, we don't add extras, but we can pick a color, kind of go from there, and plan with you if you would like to get your name beside a Kenworth. So just call leasing. The other thing that I wanted to mention too is, if you have an end of lease in the month of July, but maybe you plan to take some time off and you're realistically not really wanting to pick up an ordered truck until 1st of August or something like that, be sure to keep that in mind when you are placing your new truck order. Take into account your time off, because unfortunately when that truck comes, we do have to have it picked up within a reasonable amount of time. So just something to think about, but yeah, give us a call if you've got any questions about new truck orders.
I'm going to piggyback really quickly on the Kenworth. So those are treated like an ordered truck as well. So if you're wanting to put your name by a Kenworth, that is wonderful. It's a wonderful thing that we've signed with them. But you do have to be leasing for 90 days. So these, in order to reserve one and put your name by a VIN. So just be aware of that. You can do a lease purchase on those as well. And it is going to be the same qualifications, the $5,000 down, and then the remainder when you come for pickup on those. So Peterbilt and Freightliner, you can order on our website. If you have any questions, Chelsea and I are happy to help. What else am I talking about? I'm very pregnant, so give me a little grace here, please.
We just kind of took off, didn't we?
I know.
Retention and rewards.
Okay, yes, retention and rewards. This is crucial to all of our leasing operators. Please never forget about this. So everything you earn through Success Leasing, all of your leasing benefits, so your forgiven lease payments, your down payment decreases for every year you've been leasing by $1,000. You earn your longevity, so your retention rewards, all of that as well goes off of the first date that you signed your lease with Success Leasing. So we want you guys to take a break, go home, relax, especially between those leases. But please, please, please make sure you are back and you have a contract signed within 59 days. Please don't shuffle in on the 59th day, hoping we can get a truck signed and ready and out and rolling. So we've got to have a contract signed within 59 days to continue your original leasing benefits, your original longevity date. You never want that to kind of go away. The last thing I'm going to talk about really quickly is phasing out of trucks. So one of the many wonderful things about Prime is we have, I would say, the best equipment out on the road. So Robert is wonderful in so many aspects, but keeping our equipment new and current and safety equipment new and current is a wonderful thing. That is something that we take pride in as leasing and Prime, and I hope you guys do as well, being out over the road in that equipment. With that being said, sometimes we have to phase out equipment. So just be aware, by December 31st of 2025, all 2019s, well, there won't be any below because we already phased them out. So all 2019s will be taken off the fleet. So guys, we are giving you time. Please prepare. Please order a truck. Come talk to Chelsea and I. We're happy to help you kind of figure out that timeline with that. There's a lot of different options we can do there. So if you have any questions with that, let us know. Again, we just want to keep that, the fleet current and safety equipment current on that. So do you guys have any questions? Wow. Hello.
Question on, thank you. On the Kentworth that you guys are getting in, what is that engine manufacturer on the Kentworth?
Drew? MX. It's MX.
MX.
Don't know.
Done. Drew, come on.
It's the Packard, the MX-13.
Okay. Say no more.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Hi.
Hi. So your leasing benefits, if you go over 59 days, does that also affect your 10-year vested date?
Correct.
So that would restart your 10-year time over?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Right here.
At the beginning, you said when you order a truck, it has to be picked up in a reasonable time. What's a reasonable time?
2 weeks is what we really shoot for. If something comes up, if there's, depending on what the situation is, not saying we're not willing to work with you all if something does come up, but the goal is 2 weeks. We really don't want a truck sitting longer than that time frame.
Right here.
Are y'all releasing any spec lists for the Kenworth yet or holding on?
Say that again. I can't.
I'm sorry. Spec
list.
Oh,
we could get one.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We can get you one.
Thank you.
Great. Well, happy Friday. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, I got to say something about these two because yesterday they walked by my desk and I stopped Haley and I said, anyone that's dealt with Haley and Chelsea know they're always super positive. They're easy to work with. They've always got a smile on their face. I see some heads nodding, They walked by yesterday and I said, hey, make sure that you bring some of that positive energy when you come up there. And Haley looked me dead in the face without a smile and said, I am 30 weeks pregnant. You will get what you get. I thought she'd done a fantastic job because I felt a little threatened yesterday. So I think she done wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about safety. So we're going to cover some numbers here real quick. What do you got for us this morning, Rick?
Hey, I talk about accidents a little bit. It's one of our pet peeves that we deal with on a daily basis, and we need to get back to the basics when we're dealing with these types of situations, and it's really simple. The basics are simple. I mean, it's something that you're taught, and from the very beginning, we just need to remember them and slowing down. It's just slowing down altogether is going to prevent an accident. Your following distance, making sure that you have an adequate following distance. And I always like to use this rule for myself, and it's 1 second for every 10 feet of vehicle that I'm driving is probably a good safe following distance. Distractions. Limit your distractions in the cab, and you're really familiar with this now that we have cameras in the trucks. We're getting a lot of distracted driving videos, and you guys are getting them and seeing those, and that's what we're talking about. Limit those distractions in the cab, and when you get in the cab, when you get in the truck and you're ready to go, make sure that you have everything you need around you. That way you don't have to be looking down and reaching for things. They're just right there at your fingertips. Last and not least, but driving to your ability. Don't drive to somebody else's ability. If you start feeling uncomfortable, then you're gonna forget the other part of your safety program that you need to deal with. So don't drive over your ability. And once you get to that point, it's time to park it, and it's just so much easier to park it and let the plows get out there and start clearing the roads and putting some salt down, and maybe an hour, 2 hours, maybe 10 hours from now, you can get back out there and do what you need to do. Other than that, that's all I got. I appreciate you giving me the time.
Thank you, Rick, for sharing that. I know this winter we've seen too many speed-related accidents for the driving conditions. And I had a driver at my desk yesterday that was in for a counsel on an accident he had. And we went over the captain of the ship mentality. You've all heard it. And he kind of pushed back and said, well, I've only been here 6 months. I don't care. 6 months is plenty long for you to make the decision whether you're comfortable or not. So if you're new to this industry, just remember that's your decision to make. If the conditions are not favorable, do not push through. You're not going to impress anybody here by putting yourself at risk to get it there, and we're not going to make you push through. If you're not comfortable, you shut down. The biggest key is communication. That's always going to be the biggest key around here. If you have to shut down due to weather conditions, you communicate that to your fleet manager. Your fleet manager is going to get with sales. They're going to get with the customer. We're going to let them know it's going to get there. It's going to be a little late, but it is going to arrive. They would much rather get that than, by the way, we've had a rollover accident. Your product's not going to get there. Now, I will tell you, I've been involved this time of year in too many emails with customers because we have had an issue that rolled over or caused damage to the freight. Now, I will tell you, I've never had a customer push back and say, well, what's the condition of our freight? They always ask, how is your driver? There's a reason for that. They know we put our drivers first. That's why we have such a wonderful relationship with our customers. They know you have the ability to shut down when you need to. So just know that we're going to do the right thing. If you're not comfortable driving, we'll make sure that we spread the word with them. You got a question back here?
Yeah, Bill, does it matter what kind of load you hauling, whether it's a regular load, a high value load, or a hazmat load?
Nothing in that box is more important than you. The most important load on that truck is the driver and the passenger or whoever else is in the cab of that truck. Do not worry about the freight in it more than yourself. So do not push through just because you're on a high val 5. You communicate, and let's make sure that we do the right thing. Let's go over some inspection numbers real quick. We had a total of 120 this week. Clean percentage is 66%. We had 79 clean. So give yourselves a round of applause, but we got to do better. 66 isn't good enough, right? It's not good enough for me. I want to see better than that because these impact our CSA numbers. And if you're new to this, let me tell you what CSA numbers are. It pretty much is our report card. This is what customers look at when they're trying to determine who to give their freight to. They're going to look at our safety score and they're going to compare us with our peers. We want to be the best safety score out there so we have the best product to give them, right? So make sure that we're doing proper and thorough pre-trips. Let's make sure we're looking our equipment over all the time, obeying all traffic laws. These little 5 and 10 over speeding violations that get you stopped, they're doing that for a reason. They need a reason to stop you to be able to inspect your equipment. We've always got great equipment like Haley and Chelsea alluded to earlier, but we don't want to get stopped in the first place. So let's make sure we're obeying all traffic laws. We paid out a total of $6,225 this week. One last thing I wanted to touch on. I know they mentioned cameras earlier. A very important thing that we're getting pushback from our claims department is we're kind of using the cameras as a collect-all as far as for information. We've got drivers that are involved in either parking lot accidents or something else, and they don't exchange information because they say, well, I got a camera. The camera will catch it. Don't do that. You still got a requirement to collect information, take pictures, document everything because those cameras are a great tool, but they don't always capture everything. If that other vehicle that hit us is off to the side, this isn't CSI, right? We can't still frame, blow it up, enhance it to see the DOT number and the truck number. A lot of times, if that truck's moving when they strike us, we may not be able to capture that on the camera. And if it's not got a lot of markings on it to identify the company, we won't have it. So make sure we're doing what we're supposed to as far as collecting information. One more thing I want to touch on, drivers are doing a lot better with this, but the manual button on your camera, this is a very important tool to use as a marker. That manual button, don't worry if you push it, it's not counting any points against you, it's not going to negatively impact you. But let's say you're in the bunk and you get hit. You're not to the point where you can jump outside real quick, right? Maybe we don't have enough clothes on to be able to do that. Instantly reach up, push the button, and then do what you need to do to be able to safely get out. That sets a marker. Now we've got a time stamped on that camera. These cameras can only be requested footage at 1 minute at a time. So that's important because if you say, hey, I got hit, it was about 2 hours ago, but I don't know what time it was. I've got 120 videos I've got to request to figure out when you got hit. But if you push that marker, it may not have captured the impact, but now I know 1 minute prior to that where the video is. Same thing if you're driving down the road, somebody comes into your lane, hits your mirror, touch that camera button. If you touch that camera button and it's an hour before you're able to safely get stopped, I can go back and look at that footage and request 1 minute prior and know exactly who hit you. So just use that as a tool because it's wonderful to capture that kind of information. Leanne, real quick, if you'll step up on the topic of inspections. I know we've got a deadline that's coming up right now that kind of impacts us every year as far as some paperwork or decals that tend to cost us on inspections. What do you got for us? this
Yes,
morning?
IFTA stickers. This is what they look like this year. They're blue and they say 25 on them. So if you haven't gotten them yet, the deadline is today. Tomorrow they'll start writing tickets. So we want to make sure you have those on your truck before then. So if you haven't gotten them yet, come see us at the permits department in the Plaza building. We have them for you and we'll get you set up.
Where are they available? Is it just here?
They're available in all the terminals. Most inbound, outbound has them in most of the terminals, all of the terminals. We're the only terminal with a permits department, so everybody else has them inbound, outbound. You also want to be able to find your permits on the app or have your permit book updated if you do get inspected, so you can find all your documents to give to DOT. If you go under My Permits on the app, it has all your, you'll go to My Pages, the Prime portal, My Pages, My Permits, and that'll have all your updated permits to show them. If you think you might be somewhere where you don't have good service and you might not be able to pull it up, then you might want to take a screenshot and keep that on your phone just to have available. And when you're checking, doing your pre-trip inspection, you'll always want to check that your IFTA stickers are still intact. They should be one under each door, passenger side and the driver's side. And I think there's a question over here.
It's not necessarily a question, but for the newer guys, this IFTA stickers, there's two of them. One goes on one side, one goes on the other.
Yes, correct.
Because there's a lot of trucks I see, for some reason, they stick them both on the same side of the truck.
Yes, that's good call. Yes, you want to put them one on each side so they can see it either direction you're going.
You're saying with the mobile app, with our registrations and stuff like that, not every state accepts that mobile app.
Yeah, it's a tool. They're supposed to accept it.
Well, they don't. They actually want hard copy in hand.
If they do want hard copies, we do update your permit books for you. You can bring those into us, or we can fax or email copies if you need them, if you're on the road and can't make it to us.
Not to sound mean, but a lot of drivers really don't look at the permit books. They actually need to, because
yeah,
I got stopped in Wyoming and I didn't have one of the permits. I was lucky enough that they allowed me to have it faxed to me before they decided to write me a citation, but they didn't, because I was able to get a fax to them.
Yeah. Yeah, anybody that's here today and wants to bring their permit book to us, we always will go through it and make sure you're up to date. So you have those paper copies too.
And real quick, before we go on to the next question, the importance of this IFTA sticker, I went through and looked at last year's violations. The average cost for an IFTA sticker violation is $500. So it's $500 out of your pocket just for not having those decals on. And it's super easy for officers to see. They literally will drive by you on the road and look over and see if you have it. If you don't, they'll pull you over and give you a ticket for it. Go ahead.
All right, this is not to take away from the IFTA subject or the importance of it, but to step back just a tiny little bit. You were talking about recording information for the for accidents. Does the safety department still have the accident packs they used to put in all the trucks, where they have that card that just has everything that you need to collect?
Those are actually in the permit book as well.
Yeah, I think they put two in each permit book. So, and if you use them and you need another one, when you stop by, grab one at the terminal.
Thank you.
We got one more question.
As far as inspections go, is there any way we can get the yearly inspection cards put on the app for the trailers?
That's a good question. We don't have, we don't deal with in permits, we don't deal with the.
Yeah, we're going to have to get with maintenance on that to see if they've got a way to be able to download that to the app.
But that's a good idea.
Hey, one question or just a statement also, if I could jump in, go ahead, Keith, is, man, a lot of drivers and I don't know if people think about this or not, but we see a lot of trucks that have their IFTA stickers and in some way, maybe it's a badge of honor to have your 2020, your 2021, 22, and have them all lined up in a row. But just a tip, man, our trucks really look nice. And if your stickers really attach well, just keep putting them on over the top of the old one. In this manner, your truck looks like a brand new truck. And I'm just making this point because trucks that have 5 or 6 IFTA stickers, in a row are pretty easy to pick out because, those trucks tend to have more oil leaks or things that may be wrong that a DOT person could say. I'm not trying to say we're going to, try to skirt the law, but one IFTA sticker's fine. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
And one other thing, if you're on the road right now and you don't have your IFTA stickers yet, give us a call at Permits. We can get you a temporary decal permit to get you legal so that you don't get any citations.
Perfect. Okay, we're running short on time. We're going to bring up the next speaker. Do you have one more question, buddy? Okay, well, Buddy was saying if you got more than one sticker, they could write you a ticket for it. So let's do like he said, let's put them on top of each other. That way it not only looks newer, but if officers see it, they may think we're newer and wave us through, whatever it takes, right? And get those clean inspections. So Donna and Lugs, thank you very much, Leanne. Let's give her a round of applause. We were talking about CSA and violations that sometimes go against our report card. What kind of information can you share with us to keep from getting those log violations this morning?
It is just making sure that you are following the regulations, staying within the hours of service, which really right now is one of our biggest hits. The HOS violations on record, and that is because they have become more visible to a DOT officer. So if you look at your logs page, and you should always be checking your logs, reviewing every day, verifying, making sure that everything you wanted to log is accounted for. But violations, actually, if you look at the graph, if you see a little red mark under one of those bars, that means that that's where you occurred the violation. It shows exactly how long you were in violation for that officer. And if you look below at each individual segment logged, it's going to show underneath in red, you had an HOS violation at, 4:20 p.m. on the 14-hour clock. So it is really visible and more easily for them to those, and those why those have gone up a lot more in the past couple of months. But in regards with the hours of service violations, there are some things that can happen that can cause us to go beyond our clocks that are unavoidable. And that's what we're going to talk about, adverse conditions today. This is something that you may not have seen before. It has always been an instated exemption. However, there is a button to reflect it on your logs now. But you have to remember is that even though it's an adverse condition, you are still driving beyond the hours given. You are still operating your vehicle beyond the hours given. So there's always that instance that they can take that into account. So just remember, anything and everything unavoidable or avoidable, put you past your hours, there's always that possibility, okay? Now with adverse conditions, this is not everyday conditions. So we're talking about the Federal Motor Carrier Administration defines adverse driving conditions as weather or road conditions that are unexpected, unforeseen, that cause severe delay. This exemption extends the driver's shift by up to 2 hours, meaning beyond your clocks, to reach the closest destination safely when moving from that incident or occurrence on road, okay? What conditions apply? When we talk about unforeseen, remember, we're in the technology, right? It's all about technology. We can look and see everything now. So weather conditions, it would have to be something where, sunny and 70 and all of a sudden you're driving and 2 seconds later, the sky turns gray, it's dark and 2 feet of snow drop within 5 minutes. That would be unforeseen. Weather conditions are always a given. You can look that up. That is according to your trip planning. Coming in, we just had the weather here in Missouri. You can't say you didn't know. That was predicted a week ago, okay? But remember that anytime there is an occurrence on road, whether it be adverse or not, you always want to make sure that you are documenting your logs. You have to remember, these are legal documents. These are your records. The DOT is not going to know what happened or cause you to go into violation. You have to let them know. You got to give your story and you got to back it up. So make sure you're putting everything and anything into your annotations. And if you're not sure, you can always contact us and we can provide the assistance. But adverse conditions do not apply to if you are at customers. So detention time, breakdowns, enforcement inspections, loading or unloading delays, road construction or delays. Usually there's signs available. And remember, if you're using your Copilot, Garmin, or other navigation systems, and you map out your route line, it will show areas of yellow where there's slow traffic or accident. So it is always televised, broadcast, or issued warnings are always out there. So it would have to be something as in, you're going through the mountains and all of a sudden you're coming up seeing slow traffic because, a rock slide occurred a half an hour ago. That would be an adverse condition. My favorite one, Debbie used to tell everybody, is if you get to the bridge and it falls out in front of you, that would be an adverse condition. But something like heavy traffic, and you have to look at your regions when you're trip planning that you're going to. If you're rolling through Oklahoma, maybe less, make your destination time. But when you're going through Atlanta, Chicago, up in the East Coast, New York, New Jersey, Florida, California, these are known heavy traffic areas of congestion. So a 20-mile trip is not going to take you 30 minutes. It could take you an hour and a half, maybe even get there the next day. So that's a given, basically, all right, in those situations. But just remember, though, for adverse conditions to be enabled, you do have to contact your log advisor. We will determine, based on the situation or conditions, whether or not it warrants the adverse condition be applied to you. If it does not, we are your log advisors. We will make sure that you are accounting for or get you to what to do to make it safe and legal for you in those situations, okay? But always contact. It's better to call us, be safe than sorry later on, okay? We can help and assist you if you need it, all right? Any questions?
Yeah, I got a quick question.
Okay.
So say I'm started into that 2 hours of drive time. I come up on a safe haven, 10 minutes into that 2 hours. Do I have to stop not that then, or can I run out the 2 hours?
Not run out the 2 hours. You want to make sure, remember, you are still driving beyond your hours. So you want to make sure that in that occurrence, you are moving to the closest destination as soon as possible, which means making contact, getting that communication going. As soon as you see it, say something. Okay, fleet manager, your dispatch sales, whomever it may be, but make sure we're getting that plan B in place as soon as possible. Make adjustments based on your changing conditions.
Thank you so much. I got a question over here.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you're in that condition and you're unable to use a hands-free device, how do we contact you?
I mean, if you're in those kind of situations, the most thing you can do is keeping yourself safe, of course, and just a quick little cue on that. Make sure the only two positions or statuses you can be on road are going to be drive and or on duty. You are not off duty in a safe place of parking, and you're definitely not sleeping in the middle of a road, highway, or street. So as soon as you're able to get to that safe destination, please contact us. Even if we haven't enabled the adverse condition to apply it during that time period, the biggest thing DOT is going to look for is the annotation and the documentation of the occurrence. Because I had an instance where a driver didn't document. However, I saw it on his logs. The reason why I saw it on his logs was because the officer who stopped him and he explained the situation, he looked it up. That's who he knew exactly where to put the accident. So they can look up this information when there's a severe accident on road, and he applied it to the driver's logs for him. But make contact ASAP.
All right. If we got any more questions, Don, going to be over on the side for after the meeting.
Thank you guys. Have a good
Awesome.
morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's the log department is another wonderful tool for you. If you have questions, never hesitate to ask. The more questions you can ask, the more of these violations that we can possibly avoid. Couple quick housekeeping notes. If you have any questions on the Prime mobile app, you have any future topics or anything like that, we've got Richard and Carla over here in our IT department. Make sure you stop and see them before you leave so they can help you with that. One last thing before we move on to the next speaker. I don't get the honor of doing this very often, but it's truly an honor and a privilege to me. I want to be able to recognize anyone that served in any branch of the armed forces. If you served in the military, please stand and let us recognize you. And thank you so much for your service. We love to partner with our vets. So thank you so much for your sacrifice. And we're so blessed to be able to have you. So the last topic that we've got for today is kind of some depressing news for me, but I'll let Stan and our operations, Stan Allman, and also Steve Larson in our orientation department.
Thank you. Good morning, all. It is with, a heavy heart. This is Stan Casterkey's last day at Prime. Come on up, Stan. 14 years of dedicated service. I think most people in here know him. Played a vital role in our PSD development, and keeping us in compliance, in our PSD testing. and our examiners. So Stan's done a really great job, and we're really going to miss him. It's big shoes to fill, and I'll just, let Steve go ahead and talk now.
Well, we started our driver development from the ground up back in 2002. Stan joined us, 14 years ago, has it been? Yeah, 2010. We've, of course, lots of changes in that time, and a lot of it's been government type changes too. And he's kind of worked us through those things with the state and the federal folks, and done a great job there. Has a great relationship with our folks up in Jeff City, which has helped. We have at our training pad, we have state auditors down there every day auditing, which is, kind of unheard of. We kind of started that here in Missouri, I think. So, it's been a lot of course, trucking in general is a roller coaster ride, right? There's, the boom and the boom years, and then there's the recession type years. COVID, we went through that. I mean, we were doing 100 plus PSDs a week at one time. COVID, we were doing maybe 15 a week. So, those things we rode through. 14 years, I can honestly say I've probably spent just about as much time with Stan as I have with my wife, which is kind of crazy, but
He doesn't like my cooking.
no, I gotta go home for the meal every night. But no, it's been a great 14 years. He's a super person, really great. Susie, I mean, they're just a great family. They're just top-notch folks. He's been the face of Prime as far as the development, and it's a smiley face, every day. So, great person. We're really, really going to miss you.
Thank you.
While we're here, let's recognize Susie.
Absolutely.
It takes a team to make this happen. Susie, will you stand up, please? You were going to give her a shout out anyway, weren't you?
But thanks for saving my bacon there in case I forgot about it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. So, the first thing that I always want everyone to see when I meet them is Christ in me.
Amen.
Thank you for the opportunity, Robert. Thank you. I look and I see Dee sitting back there in the corner. She's kind of pouty faced. I see Buddy. I see our crew here. The folks in the back, Chris Size back there. I remember when I first met Chris, I was in the Bose store at Tanger in Branson, Missouri, and I saw him, and then, I don't know, a couple months later, he was selling Bose sound equipment. Then a few months later, he shows up at, Kenworth was the first, anyway, wherever it was at. So just people that I've known through the 34 years that I've been in the trucking industry. It's an awesome industry. For those of you who are just getting into it, you're not just a truck driver, okay? You are a person who has chosen an industry that is completely vital to our nation. You remember when there wasn't any toilet paper on the shelves? Yeah. They were happy to see a truck coming in. And I think that's kind of changed the perspective of the trucking industry somewhat. But don't ever be ashamed of being an over-the-road commercial motor vehicle operator, professional commercial motor vehicle operator. Our nation will not function without you out there driving safely, meeting our public's needs, not just our nation's, but our world as a whole. So I truly feel that it has been such a privilege for me to have been in this industry, but it's been such a privilege for me to have made everyone's acquaintance here. So thank you for what you do out there on the road.
Hey, I want to mention that we're going to have a luncheon between 11 and 2 today over in the lower level of the plaza. Come over and celebrate Stan's last day. And Daryl, I think you're the next speaker up, so why don't you come on up here?
So before he walks off, I just want to echo a couple comments. I said it at the dinner Monday night, but I'll say it again. Stan might be the nicest individual I've ever met. And when he's just a wonderful person. He cares about people. His heart goes into everything he does. And he truly does reflect Christ. So he's just a guy that I like being around. So we're going to miss him a ton, more than you'll ever know. So, we've had a really good week. We had a couple of really nice events earlier this week. We had our 2, 3, 4, 5 million mile dinner on Monday night. We actually had 2 drivers that are celebrating 5 million safe miles. That is unheard of. We only had 1 before that, so now we've got 3. So that was wonderful. We had our driver advisory board on Monday. You guys would be very proud of your board. They challenged us hard. We were probably uncomfortable a few times because they asked some really good questions. They challenged us on a lot of things. And we've got a list of things coming out of there that we need to work on. One in particular they challenged us on was damage to our yard. We take a lot of pride in this facility. Robert spent a lot of money because he wants you guys to have a place you can call home away from home. And our own drivers challenged us on looking at our yard and how many times we have driven through the islands, tearing up our landscaping. And I didn't realize it. I'll be honest, I hadn't walked out there in a while. I walked out this week and looked at the area just north of the Wash Bay. It is disheartening. We've driven through those islands multiple times. They look terrible. And you got to ask yourself, if you do that here, what are you doing at a shipper? What are you doing at a truck stop? That's not how we want to represent ourselves. So I'm taking their lead, and we're going to challenge you on it. I'm meeting with security. We're going to meet with some other folks on ideas and how we can stop this. If we catch somebody, you got to also wonder, why didn't they tell us they damaged it? Is that the kind of person you even want to work with? But they're sure going to pay for it. So I'm just telling you, we need to be careful. That goes back to the whole safety concept. We need to be careful when we're driving. So not to get on everybody, but I just feel like it's important because it's important to our drivers. And our facility is important, and we want to take care of it. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, we do wonderful things. We've got a great team. We've got the best service in the industry. We got a great team behind you. And I think it's why this company is where it's at today. But it got started by one guy, so I want to bring him up, El Jefe, and let him kind of close us out.
We'll swap mics here. Man, we got some springtime going on out there, don't we? My goodness, it's nice. Very nice. We can wear those short pants today and tank tops, it'll be cool. Yeah. It's good to see you all. I want to join the others and where does Stan go? He's right here. Stan, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've been great. We're going to miss you. Stay in touch. And you just can't thank you enough. Daryl, I appreciate you bringing up the landscaping. We want the place to look good. Why? We want to see some green grass, some nice trees, some nice shrubbery, that kind of thing. Because you don't typically get that in a truck stop. You live on a sea of asphalt out there, and honestly, it's just not all that pretty. So we want to be home. We want to be family here. And family is about providing a home. And we want that home to be nice. And we want it to reflect our appreciation and our feelings about you all. Daryl, Stan talked about, truly professional truck drivers and what you do, the contribution that you make. So the very least we can do is provide, a nice environment when you're here. Something other than kind of greasy asphalt. You see what I'm saying? So help us take care of it. Man, it ain't cheap when somebody runs over one of them $400 store-bought trees, we put in out there. Man, it breaks my heart. So help us with that. We want to keep the place looking good for you, for us, for our customers that occasionally come through. We want to reflect what we're really all about. So thanks for that, Daryl. Thanks for bringing it up. And thank you all for helping us with that. He said, feels like spring out there. You know what that means? You know, those roads are drying out, freight starts moving, shippers start paying. You know, it's time to make a little bank because you can get out there and run for a change. You don't have to worry about, you know, the snow and ice on the road. That's a good thing. That's a good thing in trucking. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let's get out there and take advantage of it. God bless each of you. Please be safe.